Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of This is the Day. Today, I am joined with Hayden Cowart. He is a science teacher and is running the local homeless ministry group in the area called Encounter. Hayden, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, it's a privilege to be here, Monet.
Of course. Can you please introduce yourself to those who are tuning in today?
Yeah, so I'm Hayden Cowart. I'm a school teacher at the country's best Catholic school.
Oh, of course.
So Lumiverum Academy, I'm a science teacher there. I have some wonderful students and then do some formation with the boys and some stuff on faith and culture. But then, with the rest of my time, I help lead the Encounter Homeless Ministry here in Boston and helping draw people deeper, hopefully, into a life of prayer and fraternity amongst one another, and then also being sent on mission to encounter Christ and the poor. And then kind of like have my hand in a few other things on the side. But yeah, those are sort of the bread and butter of my life.
That's beautiful. And, for those who are watching, that I'm the middle school director at the parish, and Hayden so wonderfully gave of his time last year to that ministry. And I've seen firsthand, your love for the middle school students. I've seen firsthand your love for those who are experiencing homelessness on the streets. Have you always been involved with this kind of ministry, whether it's teaching or giving back to those who are homeless?
Yeah, in different ways. Yeah, so I first began to move towards Christ when I was in high school, maybe a junior or so in high school. And what coincided at that time was sort of a discovery of Christ in the Eucharist, but then also pretty early on, and I wouldn't have known how to articulate it at the time, but a discovery of Christ in the homeless. Because I read this quote from a favorite author who said, if you're jaded, great philosopher, because no endeavor is lofty enough for you, then plant a little tree or teach a child how to read. And if you wish to serve God, love and care for the child. So I remember reading that in my favorite author's journal. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just do all those things. Yeah. So I started going to volunteer at a homeless shelter to teach the kids there how to read. And then I started working in a garden, planting a tree. I took it at face value.
Yes.
Anyways, but when I would go down to work at the homeless ministry, I'd get off school. I had to park a few blocks away. And as I was walking to go to the shelter, I'd also be befriending people I met along the way. So really, kind of as soon as I was being drawn to Christ at that time, that was before my conversion, but as I was kind of being drawn to him, a lot of it was through the Eucharist, but then also through the homeless, through children. And then I took a year off of school after I graduated from high school, and I went overseas to Nepal. And then while I was there, I was tutoring kids. So I was a teacher overseas in Nepal. And again, I was formed very profoundly just by my experience of working with the kids there. I love working with kids. I love my students. So there I was very shaped by the kids and their experiences. But then too how so-called low caste people in Nepal were treated. That very much shifted my life. But those threads of working with children, especially fatherless children, and the homeless have been woven throughout my discipleship with Christ.
Amazing. Yeah. And for, focusing in on the homelessness portion of it, how does Encounter differ from maybe a typical soup kitchen or maybe where people can volunteer? What sets you apart?
Yeah, I'd say the easy answer is Christ. It's the easy answer and it's the sincere answer. But another way of putting it is that we're not about meeting primarily material needs. We call ourselves a ministry of presence. And it's because we come to people just to be present to them, with them, to walk with them, to be like Mother Mary at the foot of the cross, not to remove them from their suffering, not to try to fix them or something like that, but instead to discover them where they are and to accept them where they are. And then just as Mother Mary's heart is pierced because she has compassion for her son, and she enters into his passion by that, that's what we're aspiring to do. We're aspiring to come to people, to join them in their experience, whether it's they're enduring their passion or they're laughing or they're dancing or singing Christmas carols. It's kind of all of the above with us. Just accepting that for the day and being present to them.
Beautiful. And Hayden, for those who are watching, whether they're a young adult or they're someone who is maybe younger, older than that age group, how can they get involved, whether they want to be with you each month on the street or they want to give something more, maybe a donation or prayers? How do they reach out to you and your group?
Yeah, so especially now that winter's approaching, anything that we can use to help keep our homeless brothers and sisters warm is greatly appreciated. I think you'll share the website information, but there we have a volunteer button. If you are somebody who could come and walk with us, if you're like an 18 to 35-year-old, you can come and serve with us that way. But yeah, if you want to be a part of the mission in other ways, we'll also have a place on the website where you could donate, whether that's sleeping bags, hand warmers, or if it's financial donations to help us kind of like use those resources. We also have 3 missionaries who are fundraising half their income, so we halfway quit our jobs so we could do this part-time.
That's great.
So there are a number of ways to help us continue the mission.
Awesome. Well, you know that you have the prayers of myself and many who are watching, and our viewers here know about this ministry in this Boston area encounter. So please know that we're praying for you. And again, thank you for sharing a bit of what you and your group are doing. And I'm sure it's touching the hearts of those men and women on the streets of Boston. So thank you, Hayden.